Good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
Good. Real good. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Oh, gotta pause. So, I'm really happy to have Ricela Feliciano Samdi with us today. And she is our latest Alliance Scholar to be interviewed by our interviewer, Donald Cole, who is a great figure for us and for the civil rights movement in general, as we've discussed several times in this series. But Ricela got her undergraduate degree and her graduate master's degree, I believe, at University of Puerto Rico, Mayagüez, and then got her doctorate at the University of Montana. And since then, she's been at the University of Northern Iowa as a faculty member. We're really proud of her. And
Northern Illinois.
Oh, I'm sorry, Northern Illinois. What did I say?
Northern Iowa.
I must be thinking of that I have to meet with somebody today. Anyway, so yes, Northern Illinois. Thank you very much. We'll edit that out. So anyway, very and she has spoken in our series of lectures at the JMM, and so we're very proud of her. And she's here to talk to Donald about her journey. So thank you so much for participating. It's great, and I look forward to seeing the result. And I'm going to leave you guys to talk.
Okay.
Thank you,
so
Donald.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you've done to make this.
Hey, just give me a minute to get it set up. Okay, Donald, you're now the host, and we're good to go.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dave. You
Thank you.
have a great day, and we'll see you a little later today, we hope. Okay. And Ricela, thank you so much for doing this. As mentioned, Donald Cole, and been with the Math Alliance for a good while, and wanted to interview you and get your perspective on a few things, for you to talk about your experiences. And our hope is to put these up on the web, and lots of people will see them and be motivated by them. And so I have a few questions to ask you. The whole thing shouldn't take more than an hour, but I don't want you to feel rushed at all, because neither one of us are in a hurry. And so I'll just kind of start asking a few questions. Some will be closed form, that easy to answer, and some will be open form, which would kind of let you philosophize, if you will. Is that all right?
Okay.
Okay, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. Okay, so let's maybe start off by you giving me a little short mathematical chronology of your career and timeline. Tell me where you were born and reared, and then a little bit about your schooling and your various degrees, and bring me up to that point.
Well, I was born in Texas, but I was raised in Puerto Rico. So I went to high school and everything in Puerto Rico. Then I went to University of Puerto Rico at Mayagüez. That was in 2005 that I started my undergraduate degree. Then I was there also for my master's. And after that, I worked in Puerto Rico for a year. So I took like a break from being a student. And then I went to the University of Montana to get my doctorate.
Okay, big sky country.
Yes.
Yes.
Very different from Puerto Rico.
Very different, very different. Yeah, but we're so proud of you. You've done so well. And so in light of what all you've been and what all that you've done, because this is kind of sponsored by the Alliance, I want you to tell me a little bit about your thoughts when you think about the Alliance. If there are any names that comes up, how you got associated with the Alliance, and how it might have helped you somewhere along with your career.
So when I was a student at Mayagüez, one of my professors talked to me about the Alliance. I was not familiar with the Alliance. So I went to Field of Dreams. I don't remember, but I've been like to 2 or 3 Field of Dreams. One of them was particularly important for my career because I went there. I was like hunting for graduate schools. I had no idea where I wanted to be, but I met my advisor at Field
Oh,
of Dreams.
wow. That's a great story.
Yeah, and then she was great. She was talking to me about the university. I was a little scared to move from Puerto Rico to the United States in general. Uh, I mean, because of the English
Yes.
and because of the weather, it
Uh-huh.
was a huge step for
That was a
me.
big move. That was a big move.
Yeah, especially because I'm very attached to my family.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very, very hard. But when I met my advisor, I was like, I really knew that I was able to do that. Like, she talked to me about the university. And one of the things that I liked about the University of Montana program was that she was talking to me about how small was the program and how each graduate student was a person. Like, so I was looking for something like that, and I really loved it. Like, it was a very good fit for me.
Oh, very good. And you said something that's very important there that I probably should emphasize, and that is, you went where opportunities presented themselves,
Yes.
and that's very, very important. And I like how you overcame your various fears. Not that they weren't there, and not that you weren't scared of this or scared of that, but you didn't let that stop you. Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah,
It didn't
and
make it less harder, but
that's right. That is true. But it didn't stop you.
yes.
Yeah, that's the key thing. And so you're the first that I think I've heard that actually met the advisor at the Alliance. And so that speaks so well of the Alliance. Yeah. Can you remember the setting? Was it when you were going around to the various graduate school tables? Can you remember that
Yes,
setting?
it was in the graduate school fair. I was walking around all the tables and asking for questions. And when I saw this big bear in the background, I was like, I have never seen a bear in a natural place, and that's how I really started the conversation with her. I was just asking questions about the bear, and have you seen a bear in campus? And I found that the university was like, oh, that's a very cold place. Like Montana is it's like very close to Canada. It looks like a
Mhm.
very cold place. I only saw snow once before that, and it was very mild snow, like fall snow in
Okay.
October.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the first time ever to see like a lot of snow.
Yeah.
So she was showing me pictures about that, and it was amazing for me. It was like, oh, this is different. And that's how we started the conversation. It was at the graduate school fair, and it
Right.
was just about the bear, and then it became
Mm.
we started to talk about the program, and she started to describe what she was doing, and how was the students in there, how they were. I don't know, I really love the small university part,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and also the faculty in there. They were very nice, very generous with everyone. Like, and she did a good job like describing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
it did happen through the graduate school fair.
okay. And what she described sounds like pretty much what you experienced.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly what she was describing was what I experienced in
yeah.
there.
So okay. So the people who come to that graduate school affair are individuals who sort of promise to take care of our students and watch our students, and so that's why we kind of have them recruiting And so you're just a model example of that. And probably if she hadn't come, she would have missed out on an excellent student.
Yeah, so I really felt that, like they were caring about me, especially the first year. They were always asking me like, how are you doing? Are you missing your family? Are you in touch with them? Do you need food? Are you like, can you find your like your food to eat in here?
Yes.
Like, so it was, they really like cared about me, and they gave me like a special treatment. Like I really felt very good in that university. It was a good fit.
Oh, very, very good. You remind me of the time I worked in the industry for a while. And I can remember once I called down to the human resource office to ask something. And I said, well, I'm Donald Colin, but wait. What's your number? So, oh, I'm not Donald Cole. I'm number 111042. And so,
Oh.
so they were able to pull my word. Oh, that was just so impersonal, you know. And so, so to have that personal experience, that was great. Ricela, I tell you what, you have done so well. You've gotten a undergraduate, a master's, and now a PhD in mathematics with your name. You must be a genius. Tell me how you react when people say that.
I heard that a lot, but I don't feel like it. It's just because you study math, so everyone will assume that you're like a genius or someone from another world. But I don't know, like I just feel like a very normal person. Like I like to dance. I like to go out and like walk around. I really like don't feel like a stranger, like a genius. I'm a very hard worker. I have to recognize that I really work hard for what I want. So that really like got me where I am now.
I think you said the key word there is that you know, genius is 90% hard work. You know,
Yes.
it takes a little ingenuity, and it takes sometimes a little luck. But nobody gets to where you are without diligent work. And so I just wanted to commend you for doing just that, and your hard work. Okay. Now let me just maybe ask something a little more personable, and if you feel comfortable in answering, then go right ahead. And if not, then you don't have to answer. But I know that you've gotten a long way in life, and generally, you don't get there by yourself, nor do you get there without lots of shortfalls and shortcomings. And so, tell me a time that you can remember in your mathematical life, of which was somewhat of a low point, where you were almost was devastated, or you almost started to quit.
Yeah, that was my first year of the university. When I was a freshman, I can remember it very well. So I think it was the transition from being a high school student to be an undergraduate student, because as a high school student, I was not used to study. So when I went to the university, my first class was Calc 1. And I remember the professor entering in the room with the chalk in hand, and he said good morning and started to write these limits and all of that stuff that I have never seen before. I got along with it for the first 2 exams, but my third exam was a 30%. It was the first time that I got a bad grade in math.
Okay.
I was crying like crazy. It was like, I'm not good for this. I'm not good for math. And I went to talk to the professor, and he said, well, you did very well in the first 2 exams. Like, what happened? And I said, like, it got harder. I didn't understand what it was, the material. So I used to study like one day before the exam because that was my study skills for high school. So that's how I survived high school. It was like, well, the night before I will read my notes and that's it. But it didn't work for the university. So for the first two exams, I did that and it worked. So for the third one, I got a 30%. So that was really like the shock in my life. I went to talk to him and I asked him, is there any chance that I can pass this class with an A or a B? And he said, well, you will have to get a 100% on the final exam to get an A. And then I will drop the lowest score and you can get an A. So I guess I got the 100% because that was like the wake up call for me. I started to work that day. I started to study that day for the final exam.
Okay.
And like, it was like, I think that moment was the first time that I really understood what was like studying at the university. It was very hard for me. Like I remember me, like I cried a lot. Like it was like, if I don't get a good grade in this, if I can't do this like final exam, I think I will change my my goals. But I wasn't sure because all the time I really wanted to be in math. So it was like something that I have never think about it. So it was a very huge moment in my life.
Well, okay. Let's jump to the other extreme. Tell me about a moment for which you felt very, very proud of your mathematical ability.
Oh, I think that my PhD graduation, like I was like, I can't believe I'm here. I knew I was working hard for it, but I was really proud of myself. Like I've been like, I really realized my dream. Like I really wanted to be here and I got this, like I worked for this. It was a really proud moment, like the graduation day, like just like the marching band and everything. It was everything so exciting.
Without a doubt. Oh man, and you want to hold on to it so they cannot take it away. Yeah, this is a dream come true. So that is great. If you could do it all over again, what would you do differently?
Nothing. Like I think that every bad experience, every good experience was part of my journey. Like it was learning experiences, and it was like the good experiences, I enjoy them and I smile and I really like live my life plenty, but at the same time all of these bad experiences like make me grow as a person. So I think everything was meant to be the way it was, so I will be here today.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like including the 30% in my exam.
You won't ever forget that, will you?
No.
I think it made you as a person. So that was supposed to be. Maybe you should have made 25%. Then you would have been even better. That's okay. Well, we're hoping that these interviews will air, and we'll put them in different places, and some on the way up, and we'll show them at different points in time to different individuals. And what I suspect is that a whole array of individuals will be watching some of these. It wouldn't surprise me if there were some 12-year-old who's not in this country watching it. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a 15 or 18-year-old or a college student or some male, female, and who has an interest in mathematics, but just not sure. So if you think about those various age groups or the various categories that I just mentioned, maybe just pick one and speak to. And what would you tell that particular individual who has an interest in mathematics, but they are very, very young or very, very early in their career?
That's a very good question. Yeah, so I'll probably pick a small part like Latinas.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to be a woman and also be a woman of color. It's harder, I think, because sometimes you feel that you don't belong to what you are doing, especially because you're a minority. Like you can see that no one looks like you. It's very hard to see like Latinas or women of color that are mathematicians. So I think that you don't have to give up, and you really need to keep yourself like with perseverance, and don't let anyone to tell you that you can't do it. Like and most of this stuff is people don't want to tell you anything, but you feel stuff sometimes. You just feel that everyone is a man, and sometimes they are working in a problem, like in the blackboard or whatever, and you feel that your opinion doesn't count as much as the others. But I mean, I've been feeling that, and it's fine. Like you just have to deal with it, and just raise your voice, and your opinion does count. And I know that my ideas were good for that problem, and it was like I was scared to talk, but I did it. So my advice is that you really want to, you really have to talk and participate and give your ideas, and they are very good ideas.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for that answer and that response. That was a very, very good one, and we probably should emphasize that a little bit. So naturally, I'm a male, and so there are probably some perspectives that I don't see because you are a woman, and then you also are a woman of color as well. Oftentimes, I'll get some responses from my wife after she comes home, talking about some experience of just from the feministic side of things. And I would have never thought of that. I would have never said. And so even though I'm asking the same question, I'd just like for you to just say a couple other words about your experience in terms of being
Can you say
woman.
that again? It was freeze for a few seconds.
Okay.
Yes.
Pretty much. You kind of said a couple of things that I think I just want you to repeat in terms of being a woman of color, and to be able to, if you will, speak to those individuals who are interested in mathematics, who are women of color, and some of the things that you have had to undergo, and some of the things that you've kind of come through. Just kind of reiterate on that again, because that's just so important.
Yeah, so I think that a very important thing to do is to keep up and like give your ideas. If you have an idea, like I want to talk about simple stuff. Like if you see that there is you're working in a group to solve a problem and you have an idea, just tell them the idea. Like I know some of us are like afraid to talk sometimes, because I've been feeling that way, and I know other women that have been feeling the same way. So probably you've been there, and just like tell your ideas. They are good ideas, and it will help you build this confidence that you need to succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I feel that mathematics is pretty much gender neutral, but the individuals involved in there might not very well be. Yeah.
And sometimes it's just something that people don't realize they're doing. It's not like they don't mean to be that way. Like it just happened. Like sometimes they don't realize what they're doing, and it's just so small details that
Yes.
you will feel. But I mean, it's something that it should be said. Like you should talk about it, how you feel, and I mean, I also have like some women students, women of color, or other students that just like talk to me about this, and I appreciate them like talking to me. So probably like talking to a person about this, and especially if it's a mathematician, a woman of color, that would be good, like for you to share those experiences and how to deal with them.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so, yeah, thank you so very much for that. Um, you have lots and lots of accolades behind you. You've achieved much, and very few people probably have done what you've done or feel like they could do what you've done. Degrees with mathematics on the paper and with your name on the paper and associated with you all the way through a PhD. You kind of hit on this, but tell me if you can kind of recall the first time that you felt like you were a mathematician.
That's a good question. I'll say that I have always feel like a mathematician, but I like defining mathematician is really hard. Like we could write like papers about it and how people can feel if they are or they are not mathematicians. Yeah, but since I was a very little girl, I really loved math, and I like solving problems, and I felt that I was a mathematician, like a very little one. But I remember, for example, like with my parents, like my grandma gave me 5 bananas. I was an only child. I lived with my mom and my dad. And she gave me 5 bananas, and I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I was just like, you can't give me 5 bananas, take 2 back, or give me another one, because we have to have the same amount of bananas per person. So it was like this. I was always like thinking in this way. Like I really liked math, and I think that if you can solve problems and work with math, you are a mathematician. If you're talking about like when you felt like you were a mathematician, like as a profession, then I'll say that when I got my undergraduate degree, like I was like, well, I have a degree in math, now I am a mathematician, and I can like go ahead and solve harder problems, or like more math problems. But I also want to highlight something, like the first time that I knew what was math about was in a proof class.
Okay.
Because sometimes you start your degree and you don't realize what it is about. Like I was not familiar with these proofs, and I didn't know math was about like all of this like proving stuff or proving theorems. So when I started, I have an idea of more like computations, more like in the calculus side.
Yes.
Because that's what you know before you go into the degree. So, but the first time that I really saw what was like a math degree about was in my proof class. And I loved the class, so it was good. Like some students were like, I love math, but I don't like this proof class. And then after that, then they realize like, oh, this is math. Like this is really what you're going to be doing if you become a mathematician. So I think that was also like one of the moments that like made me realize what was math about.
Yeah. Okay. I have to admit that you just your answer was so beautiful. It took me back a little bit. And initially, I think I always saw math as a science, and one that scientists use, and you could do a lot of science with it. But it was in a proof class that I too first began to see math as an art, a very, very beautiful art, where you're putting a puzzle together, and it's it's just up to you to turn it, to rotate it, to make it fit, So
That's very true. And it's just that the sense that you got when you finish a proof is just so
oh
satisfying.
yeah,
It's like,
so sad. Oh man, I tell you what. Ricela, tell me a little bit about your growing up in the community that you grew up in, and I know now that you're in a totally different community. You are way in northern Illinois now, but a good piece from where you grew up, and so the constituency from which you grew up, and then you have a constituency now, and so I want you to somehow link those two mathematically. Just tell me how those two communities involve you mathematically, or how you are involved in those mathematically somehow. A little bit about your growing up, a little bit about where you are now, and the merging of the two through your being a professional mathematician.
that's a hard question.
That's a very hard question. I'm glad I don't have to answer it.
So, I mean, it's easier if you think about how you talk about your experiences, like your identity, and how it was a different community when I was in Puerto Rico, and how it was different in Montana, and how it's different here in Illinois. But it's harder to connect that of like being a mathematician. But I think I'll start with the first part. Like I grew up with my family. Like my grandma lived in this place, and then my dad and mom live in the other house, and then my uncle in the next one, and so on. Like we were all living in the same community, like very close to each other. So I grew up like running around all the houses and like eating mangoes from the trees, and just like very free in my area, right? And like it was close to the beach. We also had a lot of mountains because we like in an island you got both of them. So then when I moved to Montana, it was hard because it was all snow, and I needed to be inside the house because it was too cold for me. But I was working, so that's fine. Then, but something that shocked me in the culture in general was that I felt that I was very Latina, and there was no one that looked like me. Like I don't want to say everyone, but most people are white in Montana. Like people that could look like me were Native Americans, because Montana does have a big population of Native Americans. First I thought they were Latinos because I was not familiar with everyone. So that was one of the things that was a huge change, like culturally for me. When I moved to Illinois, I saw that there was more diversity. So in terms of race, I felt like, oh, I can see more people like me. There are more opportunities like for networking with other people like Latinos around, and it was easier to find what I wanted to cook and stuff like that, But so it in terms of community, that was really like the huge impact in my life. In terms of math, I'll say that in Puerto Rico, because everyone was Latino, I didn't feel much difference. Like I didn't feel like a minority growing up because everyone looked like me.
Yes.
So I think that transition, that moving to Montana for the first time, was when I realized like, oh, there is no Latinos here. I'm the only one. I knew about it, but it was the first time I really experienced it, like in a university. And like everyone was very nice with me. I have no complaint with that. Like they were amazing. Like they were really care about me, and it was a very good community in there. But it was just like I felt that I was different from them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I had very different experiences. Like it was sometimes it was hard to just like sit with someone and like talk about who I was, because they were different, and sometimes even the humor was different.
Okay.
Sometimes I made a joke and they were not laughing because it was not funny for them. It was just a different sense of humor. Yes, I was telling that all of these community experiences really are very attached to your career, that they work together. Like every experience that I have as an identity, like in my community, it was like impacting each decision that I made through graduate school. Like somehow it was just like how I did networking, how I talked to other graduate students, how who I am is important, like to what I am doing. So
Yes.
that's really why I think I mentioned all of these, like background and the communities.
That's going to help lots and lots of folk. You said a lot of things that people can identify with, and you persevere through all of it, and so that lets you know that that can be done, and so that's the purpose of that. I'd also like to maybe change subjects just a little bit, but it's still a little personal. If you don't feel comfortable exercising an answer, that's okay. And if you want to philosophize, as long as you want on it, that's okay as well. But I want to just take a look at today's climate. I think we'd be amiss if we did not talk about the debate that we're having in this country over the terms racism and police brutality and whatnot. And so you are now a professional mathematician, and one time you were in a totally different world. And so just give me a little philosophy about your thoughts on the social climate of today in terms of where you sit now as a professional mathematician.
Well, I feel that it's a huge problem that we cannot like solve completely, but we can do stuff like individually we can do some stuff. Like for example, I do encourage my students, like students of color, I really like talk to them a lot, like how are you doing, how are classes doing, are you thinking about graduate school, you're graduating soon, like what are your plans, and just let them know that you're there for them. It's important to give that support, like as a faculty it's important to give support to our students and let them know that they can count on you. And as a student you also have to be like aware that we are a minority, and we can change it. Like we can be part of that change if we like really like just by studying, like just increasing the numbers of the minorities in mathematics. That's a huge thing. Like it's just like a huge part that you can be part of the cause.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the purpose of the alliance, and that's why we're doing these interviews. So, and you are, I can tell that you are a great mentor yourself.
Yes.
You're gonna
I don't know. I feel that I have too much to give to my students, like just because I know how it is. I went through the process, and it's part of like giving back what I got. Yes. Like it wasn't for the Math Alliance, I was not able to find the best fit for me. Like it was a really good fit for my doctoral studies.
Yes.
So I'm really grateful that happened. So I want my students to also have these opportunities that I had before.
Yes. You know, we've talked about Ricela. We sort of looked at her past. We've kind of talked about who you are today and where you are today. Let's just take a glance futuristically. Where do you see yourself, oh, I don't know, 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now? Where do you see yourself in some of the things that you'll be doing and some of the things that would have occurred in your life?
Well, first, I didn't know I was going to be here, like at Northern Illinois University. Like I thought I was going to go back to Puerto Rico, like at this moment, like I was going to be at the University of Puerto Rico working, and it didn't happen. But I'm grateful that I'm here because I know that I can do a lot for my students here, so that really makes me feel good. And I at this moment I really love this place. Like I love the university. It's very diverse, and the university vision and mission, they are really supportive of minorities, and it's something that it matters for me. So probably I'll be here.
I know they would love to hear that. Pleased to hear that for sure. Man. Well, of course, there would be lots of places that you could be, lots of places that would love to have you a part of their organization, their unit. I can imagine that there are some industries that would love to have you as part of it, where you can make much, much more money. Some businesses, even government, where you can increase your salary. But somehow, you've chosen academics. And so, what is it about academia that brings a joy and a fulfillment to your life?
Oh, it's the students. Like I really love to teach and like make a better classroom. So I work with math education research, and I'm really into it, like how we can like make the classroom better. Right now I'm working more with how to incorporate some cultural stuff in classrooms. So it's really like how is this? It's very satisfactory to be there for the students, like helping them grow and fulfill their goals. So I think that's really why I'm in the academic. I really love this job, like working with students and working on research in math education. So it's really like a very fulfilling profession.
Okay. What was the area of your PhD? What area was it?
So I work with some data from Puerto Rico. Is I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's the National Assessment for Educational Progress. Is a standardized exam in the United States. And then as Puerto Rico is part of the United States, we also take the same exam, like the standardized exam. So they work with huge samples of students per state, and then Puerto Rico is also treated as a state. So that means that, oh, sorry, I have a phone call. Okay, so yeah, and then I analyzed that data to see how the use of computers was related to math outcomes in that exam.
Okay, and I take it that are you continuing some of that work, or you're veering off in different directions now? Or?
I went in different directions. So that was a quantitative study, huge, large study. And right now I'm working with more qualitative studies. And I have multiple projects. One of the ones that I'm loving right now is in Colombia. So it's in a rural university. And I have some colleague that is working there right now, and we're just collecting data on how to use like agriculture and farming skills and commuting problems with students that are going to be teachers someday. So it's like a teacher preparation program, and then how to use culture with mathematics problems.
Oh, okay. Very exciting. Very
Yeah,
exciting.
it is very exciting.
Very exciting. Okay, so we've asked you a number of questions and gave you a chance to philosophize in a lot of different areas, but I'm curious now as we kind of conclude this this interview, what question is it that I have not asked that would be important? And so as people begin to look at these various interviews and look at your particular one, what are a couple of things that you would like to say that hadn't been said as of yet?
Well, I'll say that one of the things that I would like undergraduate students to think about is to go into some internships to do research, because that's really something that can help them to decide if that's the way they want to go. Like, it will give them a small taste of what graduate school is about. So I know there is a lot of undergraduate students that will watch this. So one of the things is that it's good to go to these research, like summer programs, internships. There is a lot of opportunities, and just take them. And it's a way to do math, to do networking, and as well to understand what you really want to do after that. So I think that's something that is important to say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ricela, the Math Alliance is so proud of you.
Thank you.
And we certainly thank you for taking the time out to do this this interview. And in particular, I kind of really look forward to following your career. And that's, as you mentioned, 10 and 15, 20 years from now, to see all that you would have accomplished, all the people that you would have helped somewhere along the way. So we just want to thank you for taking the time off to do this, and just know that this interview is going to help lots and lots of people.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I'm very thrilled to be here today.
Okay. Okay. Well, you go and you have a great day. And,
you too.
okay. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mhm.